This is my 23.3 placement review for my work experience. For what I did on my work experience, I had 2 separate placements, and this shows what I did on each day. My work experience took place in 2 different locations. For the first few days of my work experience, I was shadowing GP referrals in a gym. And for the other placements, I was shadowing sessions at the Sundial Clinic. And these all added up to over 10 hours of work experience. The employer's report is what the employers of my work experience had to fill out to say how well I did during the placement. So, for example, they both said that I was a 1 for punctuality, presentation and reliability, and they both said that I was early for the shifts and always keen to find out more about what the job involves. And they both said that I presented myself quite well, and they both also said that I should do a few more placements to gain the right amount of experience to make sure that I know that this is the right career path for me. For the strength of my work experience, I think that I was keen to observe on any of the sessions when I was at the Sundial Clinic, and I was keen to watch and help by getting equipment and taking notes for the clients when I was doing my work experience in the gym. I also felt that I had a good level of communication when talking to the employers and asking lots of questions regarding what they were doing during the sessions and why they were doing it. The main weakness of my placement was at Sundial Clinics, and for when the sessions that I observed, each client had the same injury, which was a shoulder injury, so I think it would have been a lot more beneficial if I saw a few sessions that for people who had other injuries, like a back injury or a knee injury, for example. Moving on to threats, I think the main one was during the sessions at the gym was that I wasn't able to be very hands-on or offer any assistance or advice to the clients for health and safety reasons. I was unable to help them because obviously I'm not qualified in the gym and I don't have all the knowledge that is needed, and if I suggested something and then they injured themselves further, then I would put them at a higher risk of a more complicated injury. And finally, for opportunities, I was able to observe a GP referral session for someone with a knee injury. And they were working on improving their strength in their knee, so it was good to experience and see what kinds of exercises and weight machines they were using. I also took part in a mock induction whilst I was doing my placement at the gym, and this was to see how each exercise benefited the body and which muscles are being used and strengthened throughout the sessions. For my first objective, it was to gain knowledge of what a physiotherapy session or a sports therapy session can contain, and I gave myself a 2 for this because I was able to observe more than one session, and I got to see what happened during a session and the types of questions that were asked to the clients to make them feel comfortable. I got to see a mock training program for someone who had a shoulder injury. I only gave myself a 2 for this objective because all the sessions that I observed were people who had shoulder injuries, so I think it would have been better if I saw a few more sessions people who had some different injuries. A second objective was asking about what are the main causes for the injuries and if there are any injuries that I might find that may require the client to go to a hospital. I gave myself a 3 for this objective because although I did ask what the causes of injuries were, I didn't ask which injuries or what signs would show a lot more concern to the point where the client may require some medical attention. The first target is a skill target, and this was organising training programs. I gave myself a 2 for this because I did get to see a mock training program for someone with a shoulder injury, but I would have liked to see one for someone who had like a knee injury, for example, just so I could see the difference about what the different exercises they would do. The second target is a knowledge target, and this was asking what injuries can cause some long-term problem. I gave myself a 1 for this target because I asked lots of questions about this. For example, a client who came into Sundial Clinic had some back pain. He was asked if there was anything that might have caused the injury, whether it might have happened recently or not. He then said that he had fallen off scaffolding when he was about 19, and now some 40 years later, the chiropractor thinks that that might be the cause of the injury, and then she explained why he was experiencing the pain. For the next target, qualifications, and that was asking which university courses to take and what qualifications I would need for the job. I gave myself a 2 for this target because I asked about which course would be best to take and which degree I could work towards. They said that instead of doing a physiotherapy course, I could do a chiropractic course, and this would give me even more knowledge and also a lot more job opportunities. The next target is a personal target, and this was communication when talking to employers and clients. I gave myself a 3 for this target because even though I did talk to the clients and the employers and ask them a few questions, I did get a bit nervous as I'm not normally very confident when talking to people that I don't know, and I was unsure if I was asking the right kinds of questions. And the final target is organisation, which was what to ask clients during the sessions and what equipment may be used. I gave myself a 4 for this target because I really didn't ask the employers a lot of questions about the equipment they used, but they did tell me not to be too forward when asking the questions so that the clients felt a lot more comfortable and under less pressure when they were answering the question.